very good evening and welcome to BCN News. In light of the current coronavirus outbreak, Cabinet has endorsed a travel advisory outlining restrictions and requirements for travelers. The travel advisory issued yesterday afternoon states, all travelers who have been in or traveled to China within 30 days prior to arriving in Niue must spend no less than 14 days in a country free from coronavirus and must acquire an official medical clearance which must be undertaken within 3 days prior to arrival in Niue. Failure to do so will result in the refusal of entry in Niue pursuant to the Niue Immigration Act 2011. Cancellation of all Niue government travel to and from China and other countries where confirmed cases of coronavirus is present. If the travel to an affected country was undertaken in contravention to this notice, the traveler will be subject to the conditions previously mentioned upon returning. Failure to do so may result in disciplinary action from the Niue Public Service Commission. All travelers who are residents of Niue are strongly advised against travel to or transiting through China. However, if travel to or transiting through China cannot be avoided, traveling returning to Niue will be subject to the conditions set in Section 1 or upon arrival will be asked to undergo self-quarantine for a period of no less than 14 days. Travelers who are residents of Niue are also being asked to postpone travel plans to any other country where cases of coronavirus have been confirmed. The first meeting of the Niue Fono Ekepule is set for Wednesday next week, the 12th of February. It's presumed that this will be when the Premier Sir Toketa Langi will likely announce the date of the next general election. The Constitution provides that the Premier has two options in terms of the date of the next general elections. Option 1 is that he can call the election at 3 years after the date of the last general election, which was 6th May 2017. The second option is that he can call an election at 2 years and 9 months after the last elections. If he chooses the second option, that means the elections will be held sometime in March, but at this stage that is unlikely. Given the timing, it is most likely the Premier will call the elections to be held in early May. On the setting of the election date, the Fono will be dissolved and the general elections will be held no less than 4 weeks after the dissolution of Parliament and not more than 6 weeks. The Director of Tourism, Felicity Boland, has expressed disappointment at the lack of consultation from Air New Zealand before cancelling 4 flights this month and in March. The flight for yesterday was cancelled along with 3 Monday flights in March for the 2nd, 16th and 23rd of March. This decision has impacted on the tourist sector with some of the events affected by this. In March, Niue Tourism was expecting to host a Sava Niue and a regional workshop, a PFTAC, was supposed to be held here. However, these flight cancellations were done without consulting the Niue Tourism Office. The Director of Tourism, Felicity Boland, told BCN News in that they are very disappointed as it has already resulted in lost bookings, which we have worked hard to get to build our shoulder season. However, it is unfortunately completely out of our hands. In December last year, BCN News first reported Air New Zealand's decision to cancel 4 flights for the months of February, March. The first cancelled flight was yesterday. According to Air New Zealand, due to operational reasons, Air New Zealand has made changes to its schedule, which has resulted in the cancellation of 1 Auckland to Niue service in February and 3 Auckland to Niue services in March 2020. On average, there are 15 customers per flight affected by this change. All customers booked on these flights will be accommodated on other services. And finally, the University of the South Pacific held a public lecture last Thursday. The event, co-hosted by the Taonga Niue Department, featured a lecture by visiting Professor Konai Thaman on contemporary Pacific issues and Niue. Professor Thaman is USP's longest-serving staff member working in the Pacific Studies program for more than 40 years. She spoke about her experience as an educator and seeing the changes slowly manifest themselves at the university. She said that it has taken many years for the university to finally introduce other languages, and this was formalized to mark the 50th anniversary of the university in 2018, when other languages were accepted to be taught by the university. But before that, the only language programs of USP were Fijian and Hindi. Now, Vangahau and Tongan are also taught at USP. Some of the issues covered include the challenges of preserving the Vangahau and Taonga Niue, bastardization of Niuean song and dances, human rights, gender equality, and education. And that's BCN News for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Do join us same time tomorrow. Until then, have a safe evening.